the last show I just did was based on King Kong, the 1933 movie, not the remakes. The remakes missed the point. In the original 1933 King Kong, he loves this girl, but he's a monster, and the girl does not love him back. She screams the entire movie and tries to get away from him, and his heart is really broken by this. But he's a monster. He's like Humbert Humbert of Lolita or something. He's a stalker. He doesn't take no. It's a sort of slow motion rape, that whole movie. He doesn't leave her alone, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And he can't hear her screams. He can't sympathize with her at all, but his heart is breaking the whole time. So the whole disconnect between them is the tragedy in the original King Kong. They remake it, and the girl always makes friends with the monkey and cries when he gets killed. So then you have a completely different story. That's like Romeo and Juliet. That's not Lolita, you know? And so the gruesomeness of the first story and the tragedy of it is what I was interested in, you know? I didn't want it to be I'm not interested in the romance. I'm interested in the misapprehension, you know? And the cross-species sexual attraction. That whole thing is so weird, the first one, you know? And he doesn't just become a big teddy bear by the end of it. So I wanted him to go through stages of grief, as a shrink will tell you have to go through. So this is the denial stage, you know, where he's like, you know, how could she not love me? I'm King Kong, you know. What? You know, you're not leaving, are you? You know, he's so upset. So that's what, you know, he was like in the exhibit. These are 9 feet by 12 feet, and they're watercolor on paper and ink and gouache. And so but I had to manufacture because there's no sheet size that big. So I had handmade watercolor laminated to a aluminum panel, and that was done in this special shop, you know, the big vacuum bag and everything. And then we burnished the edges between the paper so that they went away, and then I painted these pictures on them. So it was like something that's never been done before. Trust me. There you go. Whoops, don't do that. Go full screen. He, stop it. Yeah, that's better. He goes through the anger stage of grief, obviously. But he's still crying, you see, he's still weeping. So that's really that's scary stuff, huh? That's the real stalker stuff. Like, what, you know? It's still like he's not dealing with it in a healthy way yet. But then he gets to acceptance. He gets to the acceptance stage of grief. And that's where he is in this one. And he really does know that it's nobody's fault, and it's just not going to work out. You know, she's this big, for one thing, you know, and she's screaming the whole time. So his heart's broken, but he's hopefully going to move on. So, you know, that's where I'm at with this one. And this one, I really think the painting gets better because the fur the brightly lit fur on the side of his face, I think, turned out so much better than the brightly lit fur on this side of his face, which is sort of tight and smaller in detail. They did change as I kept going. You know what I mean? I wish I'd started the series here, you know? And there's, that's actually Daphne Guinness. I don't know if anybody knows. She's a very good friend of mine, but she was at my opening, and somebody just took that picture with their cell phone. I think, how brilliant. Because she, you know, she designs all her own stuff. Those are shoes, you know, high heels that have no heel that she designed. And she's a real unique kind of creature. But somebody caught that moment. It was like, wow, that's about as good as it gets, huh? So that's it. That's my talk.